It's time for the 6 at 6 on 95.7 KCMO Talk Radio. Number 1.
Well, the President of the United States is wrapping up his trip to Scotland this morning with a little golf. I know, some of you are going to be all upset about that. But I would say the guy's gotten plenty done during this trip. He's got a trade deal with the EU. He's trying to put out fires overseas with Putin and figuring out what's going on between Israel, the Gaza Strip. So, I know that people are going to rag on this guy and be like, there he is, golfing again. I see a lot of things happening. I see a lot getting done. Biden would go sit on the beach and nothing was happening for weeks in this country. If Trump uses the golf course to get a little business done, and by the way, Trump's one of those guys, if you're a golfer, a normal round will take you maybe 4 hours and 15 minutes. Trump plays a round of golf, I guarantee, in under 3 hours. He might be a 2.5-hour round of golf kind of guy, where he's just walking up to the ball, he's hitting it, he's moving on, he's riding his golf cart right up to the green, maybe onto the green because he can, it's his course, so he doesn't care. And he is just ripping through a round of golf. So I have zero issue with the guy going on the golf course, especially when I see things actually happening around him on these overseas trips. So he's coming back to Washington, D.C. later today to do what he said is going to be putting out fires all over the world. That was the quote this morning from the President of the United States. Next up in our 6 at 6.
Number 2.
Well, let's go here. Speaking of the President, Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego is set to visit New Hampshire coming up in August. That has made him someone who people are speculating may end up launching a bid for the President of the United States. Gallego, a Democrat in Arizona, is considered a rising star in the party, and he's planning a trip to the Granite State later this summer. He will be there on August 22nd and will make multiple stops, including a Politics and Eggs to address the New England Council, a town hall with a U.S. Congress member, and a fundraiser with another representative who is running for U.S. Senate up there in New Hampshire. So this sounds to me like a guy who at the very least is exploring the possibility of running for president. Now, Gallego is considered, by today's Democratic standards, a more moderate member of their party. Obviously, he has the Latino angle as well, which right now Latinos are shifting heavily towards the Republican Party, so maybe he's a guy who can stop that hemorrhaging of Latino voters that the Democratic Party has seen here in recent years. It's not a bad strategy, but no one really knows anything about this guy, so it's a wait and see. But just know, I know we're 7 months into Trump's second term, but already some people are thinking about 2028. Next up in the 6 at 6.
Number 3.
Well, let's bring it to New York City, where this story from last night continues to get worldwide news. A gunman killed an NYPD officer and 3 other people at a Midtown office building last night, carrying a note that has offered some clues into his possible motive. Shane Tamura, 27 years old, who then ended up killing himself, cited the NFL in his writings. He played high school football in California, and he claimed to have CTE, which of course is the brain disease that has impacted many NFL players, but also just football players at any level. Over the last several decades, obviously has gotten more attention. He said in this letter left on him that he wants his brain to be studied, according to the note, and according to sources who have seen the letter. But this individual walked into the offices or the building where the NFL offices are. He did not go to one of the floors of the NFL, though. The NFL has floors 5 through 8 on this Park Avenue high-rise. Tamura wound up taking the elevator to the 33rd floor, where he turned the gun on himself after the massacre. So this story is continuing to unfold this morning, and as we get more of it, we'll bring it to you here on KCMO Talk Radio. Next up.
Number 4.
Well, here in Kansas City, let's go to this story. Port KC commissioners have approved $10 billion in taxable revenue bonds to pay for a Northland data center project. The development will be on the northeast corner of I-435 and US 169 highway, according to a Port KC news release. Plans call for Project Mika to have 5 hyperscale data center buildings across about 500 acres. This news release states one of the world's leading technology companies is behind the project, and the construction of the data centers will be done in different phases. The first phase, which includes site preparation and the first data center, is expected to take 18 months. But that's $10 billion in taxable revenue bonds to pay for this Northland data center project. That makes me wonder whether or not Port KC, if they can approve $10 billion in taxable revenue bonds, can they approve $1 billion to help out with a baseball stadium for the Kansas City Royals? I'm not saying they should. I'm just wondering if they can. Next up.
Number 5.
Well, speaking of the Kansas City Royals, bad news. Kris Bubic will miss the rest of the season with a shoulder injury. Left rotator cuff strain, the team announcing yesterday. Bubic walked the first 4 batters he faced and only lasted 2 2/3 innings against the Guardians on Saturday. Needed 42 pitches to get through the first inning, gave up 4 runs, 3 hits in his shortest start in nearly 3 years. He said he had some shoulder soreness for much of the season, and now he is done for the season. And this is not the news that the Royals needed as they are trying to close that gap in that wild card race, of course, which we're monitoring very closely down the final 2 months of the season. And last up in our 6 at 6.
Number 6.
Deion Sanders, the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, announced yesterday that he had his bladder removed after going through bladder cancer this offseason. So Coach Prime is going to stay on as the coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. That's good if you're a Big 12 football fan. But thank goodness, and prayers up for Coach Prime. He held a press conference yesterday with his physicians, and his main message was to get checked. No matter what it is, get checked. Deion Sanders beating bladder cancer, but he lost and had to have his bladder removed as a result. There's your 6 at 6.